there's a moment that everybody's talking about that I will now weigh in on. Joe Biden a few days back, I don't know what the right word is or what the right words are, shoved his foot in his mouth, melted down, got irrationally angry, all of that and more. He had this moment with a voter who seemed to be genuine in asking him a question about his son's dealings in Ukraine, and he flew off the handle.
I got a question I want you to answer. We all know Trump has been messing around in Ukraine over there, holding their foreign aid for them to come up, saying they're going to investigate you. We don't know about that. And he's no backbone for that. But you, on the other hand, sent your son over there to get a job and work for a gas company that he had no experience with gas, did nothing, in order to get access to the public, for the president. So you're selling access to the president just like he is. So you're
a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that? No one has heard that?
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I get up and no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take another Number two, no one has said my son has done anything wrong, and I did not on any occasion. And no one has ever said it. Not
I didn't say you were doing anything wrong.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
That's what I hear on MSNBC.
You don't hear that on MSNBC. You did not hear that at all. What you heard. Look, okay, I'm not going to get in an argument with you, man.
Well, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, you do. But look, look, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
It looks like you don't have any more backbone than Trump does.
Any other questions?
Now, there was a video after this video where this guy was giving an interview to some local outlet, and Biden supporters are coming up, and they're, like, harassing him. They're, like, angrily like, why don't you just get out of here? Why don't you just leave? And he gets up to talk to one of them, and the guy, like, gets in his face, and it looks like they're going to fight for a second. Really, like, childish stuff. And, I mean, that's so indicative of one person in Biden who does not know how to answer these questions, but even his supporters don't know how to answer the questions. So they just, like, lash out and get angry and accuse these people of being, like, Republican plants. I got news for you guys. He's not. Now, he's not supporting Biden. I think news was that he's supporting Elizabeth Warren, but he obviously is no fan of Trump. He led the question by saying, well, Trump is obviously holding their foreign aid for political favors. So it's not like he's holding back from criticizing Trump. He's very clearly criticizing Trump, which leads me to believe that when he asked the question about Joe Biden and his son and the fact that he had a job in the gas industry in Ukraine when he's never done anything like that before, it's a genuine question. It's like, okay, well, so if you're saying this isn't corrupt, can you explain to me why it's not? Like, can you make me believe you, maybe? So, you know, and that's a situation where, like, let's say Biden hypothetically said, well, listen, I never spoke to anybody in order to get this done, in order to get him that job. But furthermore, he studied that. He studied the natural gas field, and he was in the natural gas field for years, and he's kind of an expert in that field. So, yeah, he was hired to do that job because it perfectly matches his record and what you would expect him to do. Like, that would be an answer that somebody would be like, oh, okay, well, there's plausible deniability. Maybe it's not corrupt. But he didn't give that answer, and he can't give that answer because that's not true. So The reality is he got the job because his last name is Biden. And it is absolutely, it's on its face, it's corrupt. Without a doubt. Like, he was vice president, and they're paying, it's not $50,000 a month, by the way, it's $83,000 a month. They're funneling the son of the vice president of the U.S. $83,000 a month. If you think that's not an attempt to buy political favors, I have a bridge to sell you. But nevertheless, here we are, man. And it shows you that, unfortunately, some of these hardcore partisan centrist Democrats are, like, willing to believe in alternative facts and be just as blindfolded as much as Trump's, most hardcore, ardent supporters. Because, again, they don't even bother to try to come up with a narrative, an argument, a reason why that wouldn't be an issue. They just lash out and get angry. And that's all you saw from Joe Biden there. Now, apparently at another part, this dude was like asking Joe about his age, and maybe he's unfit because of his age. You guys know my take on that. I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter. I obviously don't think age is such an overwhelming factor, overarching issue that, like, it should be dispositive of somebody who otherwise is perfectly sharp and has the right policy positions. So I don't agree with that question, but that's neither here nor there. I think that this guy, even if I don't agree with some of his questions, that question I think was totally legitimate, and Biden's response says a lot. So, let's go through it here. Biden says, first of all, he calls the guy a liar. Now, again, I would be mortified to accuse somebody of lying if I wasn't really sure that they're lying. I always like to assume if somebody's wrong about something, I like to assume a lack of knowledge, ignorance on the topic, poor reasoning before I would jump to liar. Biden goes right to liar, and then he's been doing this for a while now, too. He likes to say, nobody said that. Nobody ever said that. Nobody said that. What does that mean? First of all, the dude's saying it right there. He counts. You can't say nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever accused that when somebody's doing it right there. I've done it on this show 1,000 times. So obviously some people are doing it, and it's not just me. There's plenty of people doing it. Yes, some of them happen to be on the right wing, and they're believe me, they're crying crocodile tears because they overlook corruption on their side, come hell or high water, and they love to point it out when it's on the Democrat side. So they're all partisan hacks and ridiculous, so you can't take their criticism at face value. Agreed. But there are many people on the left who are pointing that out and going, I don't like that. That's not cool. That's obviously corrupt. That's obviously a problem. But he likes to just assert over and over, no, nobody's ever even said that there's a problem here, that we did anything wrong. Of course people are saying that. People are saying that all the time. No matter how much you try to override it and act like it doesn't count for whatever reason, you look ridiculous because that's not true. So what a weird tactic. Like, the tactic is like shove your head in the sand and just, the tactic is the functional equivalent of la 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 la, I can't hear you, la 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 la. Like, that's the tactic. And it's like, oh, man, what a babyish reaction that is. Nobody's ever even said that. Yes, he's doing it right now. He counts. He counts. And then he said he saw it on TV. I don't doubt that he saw it on TV. Maybe it's been brought up, certainly on Fox News all the time, but even in passing probably on MSNBC and CNN. But then, of course, the part that everybody's talking about is he goes right to, I'm not sedentary. I'll do whatever you want, man. You want to run? You want to do push-ups? And then at one point towards the end, he says, like, look, fat. It seems like he cuts himself off there. So, his campaign is saying, he was trying to say, look, facts. Biden always says fact of the matter is, but he didn't say fact of the matter is there. He said, look, fat. So, I don't know. Is that a dodge? Probably. He probably was going to call him fat ass or something and cut himself off halfway through because he realized, okay, I shouldn't do that. He jammed on the brakes here. Low-key, my favorite part was when he used, like, the 1920s insult on the guy. Like, I haven't heard that in so long. Hey, get your words straight, Jack. When you call somebody Jack. Hey, come on, Jack. Like, what are you, from 1925? Like, what is that? He might as well, also throw us a couple of, why I oughta. Do, like, the fisticuffs thing. Why I oughta. Watch your face, pal. You're a gutter snipe. Enough with the ballyhoo. He's running a campaign from like the early 1990s, and he's got the vernacular of somebody who lives in 1925. Oh, man. Oh, it's not pretty. Now, but the final point is this. If he can't, like, smoothly handle a question like this from a well-meaning voter, how on earth is Joe Biden going to deal with Donald Trump? Answer, he's not going to be able to do it. He's going to start incoherently babbling in response to Trump's accusations. Trump is going to be like, you're corrupt, and Biden's going to be like, ha, 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 ha. Well, looky here, fella. Where I'm from, and back in the day, we made sure that when we walked to school, we had to go uphill both ways and make sure that you better stop with that, Jack. And the fact of the matter is that man, you're orange. Like, it's going to make no sense, and it's going to be disastrous, and Trump is going to dance all over him. Oh, my God. No, don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. And then also, I mean, I lied. This is the final point. Trump has a way where even when he's totally unhinged and shooting from the hip, there's a way of it being funny in a way and like landing with people. And there's almost an element, Trump's got that like South Park element to him, where remember early on when South Park came out, everybody was like outraged at everything they did. And then after a while, it was just like, everybody was just like, bah, that's just South Park. So it became like, yeah, they can get away with it. They're South Park. They do whatever they want. Like, that was the mindset. And nobody consciously made a decision to let that be the case. It just happened. It just evolved to that point. Trump's in a similar situation where, like, there's so much over-the-top outrage about him all the time, and it's never on the serious stuff where there should be outrage. And as a result of that, we've now gotten to a point where, let's say Trump gave a similar answer to a voter about a similar question, it would barely be a blip in the radar, or they would try to make it like, oh my God, this is so outrageous. And everybody would be like, it's Trump. Of course he called a guy fat. What, are you kidding me? Of course he did that. Even though he's fat. Of course he did it. That's Trump. It's what he does. And there's a weird quality to it where like it just rolls off of him and it lands with the public in a way that I don't think Biden can pull it off. Biden does not pull off like politically incorrect as well as Trump does. Biden comes across as like super unhinged and awkward and uncomfortable, and you want to look away when something like this happens. Especially when he starts screaming, when he, get your words straight, Jack. It's like, whoa, 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 calm down, buddy. Whereas Trump, it comes across as more comedic. Does that make sense? That's certainly my, feeling on it. Some people might disagree. I would imagine that like the hardcore partisan Democrats would probably disagree. But I mean, that's my reading of the situation. And I think Trump gets away with it a lot more, and he just can't. Biden just can't. Because that charm quality is not there anymore. And it wasn't that long ago that it was with Biden. Back in 2012 even, he had that charm quality. He had it against Palin in 2008 in the debate. He had it against Paul Ryan in the debate in 2012. But now he's an incoherent, babbling mess. So this was not a good moment. And that shouldn't have to be said, but nevertheless, here we are.